Welcome to my 6th annual Halloween month where anything could happen. So viewers beware, you're in for a scare. Alright Rick, I'm gonna tell you a story that I don't like talking about, and to this day, it haunts me. Alright guys, welcome back to one of my little podcast videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I mentioned, this is gonna be our Halloween podcast video. And here today I have, again, unknown artist. What's up, Rick? Go ahead and introduce, well, not introduce yourself, but how you doing, Rick?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing?
So yeah, well, we're gonna talk about. I'll let you. I'll let you tell them what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah, today we thought we'd talk about some cryptids. You know, mainly focus a little bit on Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know what our thoughts are.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna tell you supernatural stories that happened to us, and maybe and Rick has a good story of something that happened to his cousin and his mom. So yeah. Disclaimer. All the things that we're going to talk about in this podcast video, we don't necessarily believe in it, but we like to keep our options open. Right, Rick?
True. I mean, just because they say it's not real doesn't mean it's not true. So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't exist. I put it that way.
Exactly. I like to believe that there's things out there that we haven't discovered yet. So, I'm a big believer in Bigfoot. Again, I necessarily don't believe that he's out there, but I like to believe in Bigfoot. So yeah, you've been good, Rick?
Yeah.
Everything good?
Yeah, everything's been okay. How about you?
Pretty good. Are you gonna work on any Halloween costumes?
If I get a chance, I would like to work on Samara from The Ring.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I mean,
I know you have your series.
Yeah, I got a lot of things lined up. I don't know what I'm gonna do first, but I do want to do a Venom, Mario, because the Venom movie comes out in October. So nice. I think it'd be a great.
What about any love to Luigi?
Luigi, not this month.
Oh, okay.
Not this year. I mean, last year, bunch of Luigi customs.
Oh, okay.
But not this year. Before we begin, I actually texted Rick. I texted Rick during the week, and I thought I was texting my girlfriend, and I texted Rick. What did I text you? I love you. I'm home.
Yeah, something like I love you, babe. I'm home. So
that was awkward.
So I already knew that wasn't meant for me. But I just went with it and I said I love you too.
Well, who knows? Maybe it was the right person. I don't know.
Come on now.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and begin. You want to hear a Halloween joke before we begin?
Yeah, sure.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Werewolf.
Werewolf who?
Werewolf. I find a restroom. Good night, everybody. That's it. That's the whole show.
Yeah, that's the end of the podcast. I'm out of here.
I remember that joke when I was a kid. I remember being in the Goodwill, and I opened up a Halloween joke book, and that joke stuck with me
all these years.
Yeah, I think I saw that joke when I was like maybe 8 years old.
I think that's one of them jokes you need to keep to yourself. I mean, honestly.
And it's really bad. Oh my god! All right, I guess people don't wanna. They probably gotta just dislike the video now after that joke. But anyways, let's begin.
Bigfoot.
All right.
People claim to have seen this creature all over the world, but there has never been any evidence or scientific proof. But some of these accounts are pretty interesting and terrifying, that these people tell, if it is true, So, for those of you who ain't familiar with Bigfoot, I mean, there's a very interesting video on YouTube. It's been there for years. It's supposed to be like the first evidence ever of Bigfoot captured on film. It's called the Patterson-Gimlin film. So I recommend that if you don't know about Bigfoot or want to know more, you watch that video and kind of make your own opinion, of what you think.
I'll post a little clip on the video, that way you can see the footage with us. But looking at the video, what do you think about looking at the video? Do you think it's like a guy in a suit?
I mean, you're talking about in the 70s, I believe. That's when this came out. So, it's grainy. It's hard to tell. But I mean, seeing this as a kid, I believed it, but now, I don't know, it could be somebody in a costume. I mean, is that what they want us to believe? I mean, what are your feelings about watching this video?
Um, I guess the same thing. Like when I was a kid, like I totally believe this was an actual video, but I think I'm leaning more towards somebody being in the suit. But it looks like you're trying to lean towards more it's an actual footage. But you have an interesting thing that you heard or read on the internet that one the people that created this video was two people, right?
Yes, yes.
And one of them on
Well, actually, they're saying three now
three now.
because they're saying the two guys that were filming the video,
Yeah.
right, and the guy in the suit.
Okay.
So, but I think one guy, I mean, I think all the way to he passed away was saying that it was true, and the two other guys, or maybe even one of those guys, I'm not, don't hold me to it. You might have to do some research on this. Are saying that they put a costume on to do this video. It was intentional,
So you said one of the guys that was recording the videos on both guys that were recording the video, one of them in their deathbed, you said that it was true, and the other one said, are they both dead or
I think they're both already. I'm not sure. I mean, y'all would have to do your own research. I mean, we're kind of just throwing this out there for y'all guys to kind of make your own determination and do your own research. I mean, we're just like I said, just trying to talk about it and share what we know. But I know it I believe one of them said it was real, and then one of the other guys or the other two guys said it wasn't real, that it was a hoax. So, I mean, we'll never know. You know, we weren't there, but again, it's back to either you can believe it or you don't believe it, or you could be in the middle, neutral. Yeah. It could happen.
Mm-hmm. But watching this video, like you see Bigfoot walking, like you see him walking, and then he looks at the camera. That's kind of weird. Like I would think a Bigfoot wouldn't just be still walking and looking at you. Are you catching a good side or?
Most creatures will run when they see a human.
Yeah, this guy just
but then there's some creatures that don't, and I think like some animals will actually stop and look at you. So who's to say? You know what I mean? I mean, because I think they were right there. I think there was like a little river and then that little ravine where they start recording. So I think he could see them on the horses. And the horses make noises.
Yeah. So you think Bigfoot was just like looking at them and be like,
I ain't worried about you.
Yeah, I'm not worried about you. Like you're.
Because it didn't run, and they say it's a female.
A female. Like,
that's what they're saying.
How would they even know it's a female?
They analyzed it over the years, and with technology, they're saying it's supposedly a female.
All right. I mean, but I don't know. Like me personally, like. Well, first of all, do you think Bigfoot is aggressive?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you hear stories about, terrifying stories about this creature, and hardly any good ones unless you watch the movie Harry and the Hendersons, which is a good movie.
Well, me personally, I feel like they're like territorial, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I never seen them.
Well, the Indians talk about them, and the Indians say that they're real, but the Indians say they're a spiritual creature that knows how to come in and out of into our plane and then back into another plane.
Oh yeah, I heard that. That they're like interdimensional.
And that's why, and supposedly that's why we don't find any dead Bigfoot or any evidence of Bigfoot. But you know what? Who's to say that the government doesn't have one of these things locked up already? I mean,
could be.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, there's a lot of capabilities and stuff going on out there that we'll never know about. So
yeah, and the government will never tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? If a Bigfoot died in the forest, it's just gonna decompose. I mean, it's gonna eat the ground is gonna eat him up, just like.
But you figure the bones would still be left behind. You know?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I think I was watching this. I don't know where I was watching it, but like if a deer dies in the forest or something,
Hmm.
they get swallowed up. You know.
Yeah, yeah. The forest will eat anything back up. So
Yeah, like the bones will be covered and
yeah,
everything. So who knows? I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
but
and it's weird because that's where the only sightings of these creatures are at. You know, is in a dense forest
well, I mean,
or somewhere out in the country. You know.
aren't they like snow Bigfoots too,
I mean,
or
yeah,
they call Yetis?
yeah, Yetis, and I think there's all kinds of names for them all over the world.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's my thing. Like, is everybody delusional or mass hysteria or something? You know, where everybody around the world is seeing something and saying it's a ape man. You know, it's just I don't know. You know, how does that happen? I mean, if you want to get what is the time the sci-fi word? It's like a hive mind. Everybody,
Like
one person thinks, and then everybody else.
like a collective.
Yeah, kind of like
I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah. Is it like that or?
Yeah, like this video right here started the whole craze, right?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
America.
He made this video right here made Bigfoot famous.
Yeah.
You know?
But Bigfoot goes way back, other than this video, right? But
Yeah,
it
yeah,
got
yeah.
super popular because of this video.
Yeah. Because I don't think there was any footage. There were just stories. You
Yeah.
know. So, and this was like the first footage ever. So, you know, maybe it was a thing of opportunity, and these guys jumped on it. You know, to get famous. I mean, I mean, who knows? You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, and talking about Bigfoot, if you like Bigfoot and you know, you're interested in some good movies, I recommend this movie called Exist. Very good Bigfoot movie. Another one that came out recently is called Primal Rage, and that's also a very good Bigfoot movie to watch. You know what about you, Jesse? You know of any good movies?
Well, I don't know any Bigfoot movies, but I know as a kid there was this one episode that terrified me as a kid. I wasn't really a kid; I was like a teenager. But the Lost Tapes episode of Bigfoot. You remember
yeah.
you remember it a little bit, right?
I mean, I remember the series Lost Tapes, but I don't know how much I remember of that.
Well,
you know?
I don't remember much of the episode. I love the series. I remember a lot of
Awesome series,
yeah.
man.
I remember a lot of the episodes, and I remember the Bigfoot. Not exactly all of it, but I remember that in that video, Bigfoot was really aggressive, and he was killing people left and right.
Yeah.
And he hung up a person up in a tree or something like that.
Yeah.
It was some.
Wow.
It scarred me. I was like, wow, that's creepy, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's YouTube videos all over the place, you know. But if you like to listen to like, you know, kind of podcasts or whatever, I recommend like there's a gentleman that is his name is Dark Waters. He gets some pretty good info. You know, there's also Bigfoot Encounters, I believe, is another good one. I believe the guy's name is Vic Cundiff. Hopefully I'm not butchering that, but yeah, I mean, look those guys up, and you know, you can do, you know, listen to your own, listen to their stories and make your own decisions. You know, I mean, other than that, it's good entertainment. You know,
I have to check that. I have to check that out. We were talking about it before the show began, or I mean the episode, about Bigfoot wars and stuff like that. That sounds very interesting. I really have to listen to that.
Yeah, there's that episode about what is it? Bigfoot Wars, Alaskan Expedition. That's a very good one to listen to.
You want to give them a 5-second introduction of that Bigfoot Wars? Quick rundown.
The rundown is that I think it was some mercenaries were hired. I guess they're kind of like mercenaries from what I get. Were hired to kind of go down to Alaska they were having some trouble with Bigfoot.
They were killing the people?
Something like that. I mean, you would have to listen to the story because I don't want to, you know, mess it up. But if you're interested in that, you should check it out. You know, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to, you know, butcher anything or, you know, let them gentlemen get the credit, you know, and it's their story, and but it's good, you know.
Fair enough. So, for what you told me on that the Bigfoot wars, it does sound that Bigfoot are aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive. So
I don't know.
I mean, in most of the Bigfoot movies you see, they make them aggressive. I mean, I've never heard any other than Harry and the Hendersons. You know, like of any good things coming out of that being out in the woods. But you know, if they're territorial, I mean, it's just like any other animal. They're going to defend their area. You know, they don't want you there. You know, so
I would like I like to think that Bigfoots are peaceful creatures, but
I mean, who knows?
No evidence.
Who knows? They might have got a bad rap. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like it's movies and all that stuff.
I mean, because obviously this one that they were recording right here on that first video,
yeah,
they didn't do anything to those guys. You know, they look aggressive. You know.
I still have mixed feelings about this footage because just the way he's walking and looking at the camera, he's basically looking like, oh, are you catching my good side here? Or
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that I believe it, you know, but I mean, again, who knows?
I wonder where's if this is if it if it is a suit, like I wonder where's the suit at. It's probably destroyed by now, huh?
Probably.
I hate when things happen like that. You know, like they don't preserve these things. You know, like or in movies, you know, they all these props gets destroyed. I hate that.
Yeah. Some people. Well, I think nowadays people try to hold on to some stuff, but back then, like they just threw the stuff away. Like it was nothing.
Man, that'd be
history
great,
was lost.
Yeah, a lot of history was lost. So, keeping with the Bigfoot topic, I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but there's something called the Missing 411. Every year, hundreds of people, maybe, or hundreds,
maybe in thousands. I think.
Oh, you think so? All right, well,
because it's all over the United States and in other countries. It's happening, you know, where people are gone missing. You know, from national parks and forests.
Yeah, every day.
And you know, like we're saying, some are found, you know, and some are never seen again. You know, and you know. Some of the ones that are found don't remember what happened to them, or you know, if it's like mostly little young children, they like started on one side of the forest, and like 22 miles later are found. Yeah, you know, with no cuts, you know, and the weirdest thing is that most of them are just you know, missing some clothes for some reason. Yeah. And they don't. And the other thing is they don't remember. Most of them don't remember, or were too traumatized to remember. And most of the children say that a bear got them.
A bear got them.
Yeah, or someone had got them. You know,
Yogi Bear.
That they couldn't describe. You know.
So you think maybe the Missing 401. Well, not maybe, but there might be a connection with Bigfoot.
I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, I think they mention it. You know, some people who look into this mention
anything's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to listen to this.
Is somebody taking these kids? You know, because it's the weirdest things. You know, they say that there's one story he tells where there's a group, and it's like 5 people, right? And the person in the middle disappears, and nobody ever seen them disappear, but they were gone. And then they did this massive search, and they didn't find them. And then they end up finding them, like, you know, they did these searches for like a week or two, and then 2 weeks later they find them, and sometimes they're alive and sometimes they're dead. You know, so it's a weird thing, you know, and it's unfortunate too, you know.
Dude, that's scary, man. Like you're in the middle of the group. Heck no, I'm not. I'm never going to.
I mean, if you listen to these stories, they're pretty interesting, you know.
I will never, ever in my life go camping or just walk inside national forest. No way in hell. I'm gonna go missing. Bigfoot is gonna eat my butt.
You're a city boy. You're a city boy.
Nah.
I mean, I used to go camping when I was younger, but that's before I knew about all this horror stuff.
Will you go camping now?
Yeah, I mean, but you know, of course, I'd probably have some artillery with me, you know, some weapons. But I mean, I don't know. You know, it depends. Is it a populated camping ground, or is it me and the mountains in the sky? You know, it depends. You know, because there's people that go out there and do that all the time. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna put it this way. I'm not gonna go looking for Bigfoot. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna mind my own business. You know. But.
Oh man, I can just picture you in the forest. You come across Bigfoot. He's just trying to mind his own business. And you both slowly walk away from each other. Let's just mind our own business.
We both, in his language and in my my language, we're just like, oh, I didn't see that.
Nah, dude. Like I don't care. Like if you take a gun to go camping, that's not gonna stop Bigfoot.
Yeah.
He's gonna tear you up, man.
I mean, yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of good material out there. I mean, of course, you make your own assumption. There's another guy I like listening to. His name is Mr. Ballin.
Oh man.
He's an I should say former Navy SEAL, and man, he tells some good stories. I mean, y'all guys should check him out. You know, especially being a veteran. You know, he has some good stories to tell. He even has his own, personal story of something that happened to him when he was younger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a terrifying little story.
I have no idea that you listen to Mr. Ballin or watch Mr. Ballin.
Oh yeah,
That's cool, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We've been friends for like 10 years, and that's the first time you ever mentioned that you watch
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Ballin.
I mean, I like to support other veterans. So
Heck yeah, man. He has a lot of good stories. I need to check out that story for sure. What is it about? Like a quick rundown.
About his scary story.
Yeah.
How he went like up in the mountains.
Uh-huh.
He went with a friend, and he stayed there before with his friend and his mom. But I think the father passed away or something, and this time it was just them. And he talks about how he seen something come out of the floor, and it looked like, of course, something demonic or ghostly.
Oh, shit. Nah.
And he was the only one that seen it. The other boys were hard, asleep, and it like terrified him so much that he remembers it to this day. And that's what got him into telling these stories, even though he's a veteran. And he's taking a chance. Some people are like, "Oh, you're crazy," or whatever. But I think it carries a lot of weight that he was a Navy SEAL. And I mean, he's just telling stories from perspective of other people. But I mean, like I said, his own personal story is pretty good, and that's what got him into telling stories.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he's lying or anything. I think that's a lot of people like to be doubtful about other people's stories because it didn't happen to them, or nothing has ever happened to them. It doesn't mean it
hasn't happened. Or it hasn't happened to anybody.
Like I never seen Abraham Lincoln. But it doesn't mean he's not.
He wasn't real.
Yeah, I mean, or like I never seen your brain. Do you have a brain? Like
Yeah, or is the Earth really round?
Oh yeah, that's a whole different topic right there.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We never been out in space.
Yeah.
So,
that's a different episode right there. But anyways, going back to what was our last topic? The missing 401 or Bigfoot, or what were we talking about?
We're just talking about some of the weird instances that could be, do we think might be tied to Bigfoot?
True, that's true. I was gonna say this, but I forgot about it. But I watched this one guy on TikTok, and he talks about the national forest and about people going missing, and he likes to blame it on Wendigos. Have you ever heard about Wendigos?
Oh yeah, man, that's a Navajo or I want to say Navajo or an Indian. Let me just say an Indian legend.
He blames.
Well, you know the story about it, right? About Wendigos. So the story goes that the story goes there was a famine, and like if you eat human flesh, then you become a Wendigo, like it overtakes you. That's kind of like the story I get from it. But I mean, do your research. Everyone do your research if you're interested in that.
So yeah.
Actually, there's a movie coming out by Guillermo del Toro, the one that made Shape of Water, Hellboy.
Oh yeah, he's done a lot of things.
Yeah, I think he's making a movie called Antlers, and I think it's about Wendigo.
Oh man, I gotta see that.
It looks very good. The previews. I think it's coming out in October. Matter of fact. Yeah, so I'm very interested to see that.
And also this guy on TikTok, the same guy that I watched, that blames this stuff on Wendigos. He either blames it on Wendigos or he blames it on skinwalkers.
Yeah, so he actually believes this to be true. Then, if he's that's what I'm getting at it.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. He's not joking.
Is he like a Navajo or something or?
Not to my knowledge. I think he's a white guy.
They tell very good stories. The first Americans. They tell very good stories, man. They
Yeah.
have their own beliefs and myths, of supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
So
He says like if you're like camping or in the forest, if you hear like hello or like
don't answer
or
back.
yeah, don't answer back and don't go to that direction.
Yeah.
Or like if you hear help, supposedly they're trying to lure you in. Like that's scary, dude. Like I'm kind of like
if you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Nah, dude. I'm never going camping, dude.
I'm not one of those people either. That like, oh, that sounds peculiar. Let me go check it out. Hell, I'm gonna tear down my tent and pack up and go home. That's it.
Oh man.
Why hang around, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna investigate.
I like how I like how in movies like they go investigating. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like hell no, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
I'm good. All right, so I think we're getting to a good section of the video where we can go ahead and tell our supernatural stories, and then we can go ahead and wrap it up. So all right, this happened to me when I was a kid, and I don't like talking about this story. Like every time I talk about it, I get chills down my spine, and like right now, just talking about it, I've started getting goosebumps. Like I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to mention it. But since you're sharing a personal story, like I'll share a personal story as well. So when I was a kid, my grandma was dying of cancer, and we moved out of Houston. I'm not sure if I ever told you that I actually moved out of Houston.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. We lived in Bronzeville, Bronzeville, Texas, for a couple months. Because a lot of family was over there, so we were trying to
be together.
Be together. And the day arrived that my grandma passed away, and we were taking pictures of each other, and to have memories of each other.
Yeah. And everybody was together.
Yeah. Because having the whole family together is rare. So
yes.
We took pictures, and somebody took a picture of the house, and somebody took a picture of the living room, and what you can see is my grandma, plain as day, standing in the middle of the living room.
Wow.
Dude, like I don't even like talking about it.
So how long after that picture was taken did it get developed, and then they're like, was this a Polaroid or was this something they have to get developed?
Yeah, they at the time. You have to take your little rolls to Walgreens or CVS, whatever. So it takes,
a while, couple of days.
Yeah, because back then, they didn't have, Walmart kiosks where you can just print them right away. You have to wait, God knows how long. So after my grandma passed away, we moved back to Houston. They showed us the pictures through text messages.
Oh, okay.
My grandma was in the living room with, if I remember correctly, the clothes she was buried in.
Wow.
She had her hands together like she's praying. Mm-hmm. And you can see her frames of glasses. Like it was gold frame glasses, but you couldn't see her face.
Oh.
So and to this day, that haunts me.
Wow.
I don't like to think about it, especially and we're doing this episode on night.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out.
But it's like, to you, that should kind of justify that there is things out there that we don't understand.
Exactly.
Or maybe never meant to understand, because I think if we were to understand it, we'd be born with a book, here's the instructions, but we're just here to figure it out and live our lives.
Yeah, man. I don't know, and that's why I hate when people say they don't believe in ghosts or they don't believe in things because nothing's ever happened to them.
Whatever,
There's something after we die. There's got to be something, because how do you explain that? And before I totally forget, my grandma. Maybe some people who are listening out there probably think maybe they just took a picture before she passed away.
Yeah.
She was standing in the picture, but my grandma could not walk or stand on her own. She couldn't even go to the restroom on her own.
She had cancer.
Yeah. She wasn't aware what's going on. She she can barely signal. She needed to go to the restroom.
Wow.
And when we took her to the restroom, my uncles, my aunts, 4 people lift her up.
Had to help her.
Yeah. So she could not stand on her own whatsoever. So in case anybody was wondering, oh, maybe they just took a picture of her.
Yeah.
But no.
So, what are your thoughts about like why that happened? Why she appeared?
I don't know, man. Like I hope it wasn't nothing evil.
I think maybe she was just trying to tell y'all guys, hey,
she's in a better place.
I'm in a better place and I'm healthy.
I pray to God every day that
that's the case.
Yeah, that was the case.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the story?
I mean, it's interesting story to tell. I mean, I know it's personal to you. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, everybody appreciates it.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
And it's what happened to you. So I mean, like again, don't judge. Just sharing a story. That's all it is.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to believe it. We're just telling you that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a story as well, that happened to me while I was in the military.
Yeah.
I used to travel a lot. Well, I used to travel. One of my last duty stations was in Arizona, well, kind of close to California. So I literally have to cross California, Arizona, New Mexico, and then Texas. And of course, Texas is big.
Yeah.
So once I got to El Paso, it'd take me another 10 hours to get home.
Damn.
So I used to like to leave at night, because the AC in my car at the time wasn't working, and it was very hot out in the desert in Arizona. So I wanted to go through there at night because it's cool. It cools down out there. So this was back in the early 90s, like 93, probably like 95, 96, somewhere around there. And I was going home, I was in, I think I was around New Mexico. There was a lot of caverns and mountains that you drive through, and pretty much it was like 2, 3 in the morning. Nobody out there. I felt like I was the only one in the world, driving out there, and I had my windows down, because I wanted to feel the breeze. And back then, we used to make, we had cassette decks, we didn't have, the CD wasn't out yet, and
you didn't have your Spotify,
or else I couldn't afford it if it was. Yeah, you didn't have USB and all that, or cell phones. All that didn't exist then. And pretty much my GPS was a map.
Yeah.
So I had to plot my way to get home, But I was going through, like a cavern, and I seen a vehicle broke down, in the middle of nowhere, dude. And I'm just kind of like, man, I feel bad for them, if that happened at night, But the lights weren't blinking or nothing. It was this car sitting on the road. So it led me to assume that it happened earlier, or it's just been there, right? So, like, I was driving, listening to my music, and probably about a mile, maybe 2 miles down the road, I see this guy walking down the side of the road. And he had a big orange windbreaker, one of those puffy kind.
Yeah.
And jeans. And I could see him from the back because he was walking, away from me.
Yeah.
And, my first thought was, like, back then, you could pick people up, but out there in the middle of nowhere, I was kind of like, should I stop? Maybe this is the guy that broke down, or should I keep going?
I wouldn't.
But my gut told me keep going, as messed up as that sounds, and so I kept going. I passed this guy up. I never seen his face. He never, and the other weird thing is that he didn't ever stick his thumb out for hitchhiking or flag me down or nothing. He was just walking. He kept walking, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm on my way, and I'm driving, and I'm still in the cavernous, mountains, and I don't know if I was tired or seeing things, but guess who I seen again when I'm driving? I see this guy in an orange jacket and blue jeans walking in front of me, and I'm coming up to him, like headlight shining or whatever. So I rolled up my window, stepped on the gas, hauled. I mean, I started hauling, man, because that freaked me the heck out, dude. and I remember looking in my rearview mirror to see if he wasn't in my back seat.
Oh,
you know,
man, that'd be scary,
and
dude.
I just told myself, like, did I see a ghost? You know, like, I mean, I can't. I really never told anyone, you know, about it. You know, because you know people would be like, oh man, you're, you know, a lunatic or. You know, so I, you know, especially being in the military, you know, so I just kept it to myself. But that, I mean, was my mind playing tricks on me or did it really happen? I mean, the way we grow up is to think that these things don't exist. I mean, that's what they teach us. But who are we to say that it does or it doesn't? Just because they told us it doesn't, you know? So that's what made me kind of woke me up a little bit, kind of like, you know, there's stuff
why
out
you're
there.
open to things now.
Yeah. That like, there's things out there that you'll never understand, but you've seen them, you know. And you can't always boil it down to my mind is playing tricks on me, because if your mind's playing tricks on you, why doesn't it do it all the time, you know? So that's my story, and you know, again, you know, you don't have to believe it. It's something that happened to me personally. I mean, but I know what I saw, you know, and that's what registered in my brain.
Dang, man.
You know, so
I'd be freaked out too, dude. And if I was in your situation, I wouldn't stop. Heck no, man. It could have been a serial killer or something. Nah, I'm good.
yeah. So I mean, but you know, back in that time, you know, it was prevalent to like pick up hitchhikers.
That was normal.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't do it, you know, but I know that people would do it, you know, but my gut just told me not to do it. And I mean, imagine if I would have, I mean, if it went the other way and I would have pulled over and like the dude would have got in and then I'm driving and all of a sudden he disappears. I mean, I think about like, man, it would have been crazy, you know, but I don't know. But I mean, I did see him again, the same guy walking, you know, so I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
I don't know. I think if that would have happened, if you would have picked him up, somehow it would trigger some chain of events, and we wouldn't even have met each other. I don't know. Who knows? You who knows? You would have been living somewhere else. But yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's I don't know what to say about that story.
yeah,
Because I'm just thinking about what are some logics.
yeah.
You know, but I just can't think of any.
But the thing is too is like, why do certain people see things and why do others see nothing at all? You know, why is that? You know, like, I mean, you think about the human mind. Our human mind, even when we're sleeping, is thinking. You know, and what if we could learn how to stop it? What would we notice? You know, that's what I'm kind of thinking. You know, like, you know, what if you could do that? I mean, maybe some people can. You know, I don't know.
I'm
you know?
sure.
I mean, I know we're kind of delving in different areas, but you know, it's just an interesting subject. You know, especially, you know, we've talked before. You know, and I mean, we could talk about different things all day long. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like the FBI is gonna come knocking.
You know too much.
Oh man.
Nah, they'll label us as they'll make us seem like we're lunatics or something.
I mean, that's the normal. That's the normal response nowadays. Like if people
don't understand it,
you're a lunatic or you're lying. You know, like
yeah.
So
It's true. I mean, unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. People are judgmental, you know, and it's hard to do anything these days, even if it's for good, you know. Because I mean, somebody will turn a good thing into like something terrible, you know, like.
And I wish I still had that picture of my grandma.
Yeah.
I think my cousins might still have it.
Yeah.
Like saved in the computer somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they took a picture of it. I wish I can show you, but even though if I had it, I don't think I want to look at it.
Yeah.
Like I do not want to look at it because it terrifies me.
I would say, like, out of respect, I wouldn't
I
'Cause it's
would.
your grandma.
Yeah, I
you know?
wouldn't even show it either if I had it because
yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I would have shown it because that's just. I think my grandma wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to maybe just for my family to see.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, let's think on the positive side. Maybe just to let you know, hey, I'm okay.
I hope.
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
You know?
I pray to my grandma every night. Like I hope she's doing it okay. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, why not? You know, there's no evidence that they can't hear you. You know, depending on your beliefs. You know, we're not trying to offend anybody, but you know, me and Jesse, we both, believe in God.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, we're not trying to offend anybody. That's just our belief.
Yeah. But you have another story that didn't happen to you, but it was supernatural. And I actually enjoy listening to this story.
Oh
but,
yeah, it happened to some family members, and I mean, you could actually so before I tell the story, I'll give you a little, like a little history. Like one happened to my cousin, and the other one happened to my mother. And at that time, my father and mother had got separated, and she wasn't really close to the family, so she really didn't know my cousin very well. So they were not in the same area. They didn't talk. Let's put it that way. They didn't know of each other. So that's what makes this story interesting. And then upon research, after I tell the story, I'll tell you something to look up on YouTube because I researched it, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. So anyway, I'll start with my cousin. One day, I mean, my cousin, of course, he was older, and I'm pretty sure he felt like anybody else. You're gonna think I'm crazy telling you this, but back in the '80s, you know, kids used to ride bicycles, if y'all don't know, and stay out late, um, especially my cousins and his friends. And he told me that one night they were riding bicycles, up to no good, in the neighborhood. And it was probably like midnight, it was getting late. And he was out there with a couple of friends. And, he said they were having a good time. And he said that one of them noticed that there was something in the sky flying around, like in a circle. So, kids that they are, they're like, let's see if we could hit it with a rock, but they couldn't see how big it was. They just thought it was like a bird or something. So they started throwing rocks at this thing, thinking that they're going to reach it, right? So my cousin says, at that moment, this thing started dropping in elevation, right? And as it dropped in elevation, it started looking like a person.
Oh, man.
Right? And he said that this thing looked like a person with wings, like bat wings, right? And he said that they all kind of freaked out, and he said this thing actually landed right there by them, but when it landed with its wings closed, right? And he said it had like rough skin, like a bat. But he said that they didn't stick around. They all got on their bicycles and hauled butt, and said this thing was chasing them a little bit, but they got away from it, And that's pretty much where he ends the story. He didn't. I could tell he really didn't want to talk about it that much, so I didn't push him, like, well, what else happened, so I just left it at that, and I just kind of shrugged it off as, it was a cool little story,
But you told me that he didn't like talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And that he actually mentioned the story not back then, but once you guys were a lot older.
Yeah, a lot older.
So that's no.
He was a kid when it happened, and when he's of 30s, 40s. He told me about it.
Like, it's like there's no really reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I just left it as is. Like, oh man, that's an interesting story. So, story is like I never hung out with my mother until I turned like 19, and because her and my father were separated, and she never came around my family. My dad, my grandmother and grandfather raised me, so anyways, when I started talking to my mother, one day we were, telling stories, it was at night, and we started telling little stories, and she told me a story. And she told me a story about how she used to work at a bar, she was a waitress, and she would have to walk home. And it was very it wasn't very far from the bar. Wasn't very far from where she lived, but it was still a good little walk. So she said that one night she got off. It was like 2 in the morning, and she was going home. And she said that as she was walking, she started getting this like uneasy feeling, like somebody was following her, right? But she couldn't shake it. She said as she kept walking, she started hearing like some kind of heavy breathing, you know, but she couldn't tell where it was coming from. She said that she started walking a little faster because she was getting scared, right? That somebody was following her. And then she said that she heard something that sounded like bird wings flap. And she said like right around that time she turned around and looked, and she saw something land in a tree, and it looked big. She said it looked like a person. And so she freaked out. She started running, right? Started panicking. And she said this thing lifted off the tree and started chasing her. And she said she looked back real quick, and it looked like a man, but with bat wings, And so she started running, and she said she was terrified out of her mind. So the first house she came to, she started beating on the door. Papa, let me in, let me in, let me. She said she didn't even know who they were. She just like, let me in, let me in. She was crying, because she was terrified, right? This thing was going to get her. And they let her in. They called the cops, and, she told them, whatever. I don't know if she told them what she saw. She just told them I think she just told them somebody was chasing her, But, but what she told me was it was something that looked like a man with bat wings.
Dang.
So my cousin doesn't know my mother, and my mother doesn't know my cousin, but they live in around the same area, and they're telling a similar story. So that freaked me out. And they don't know that my mom didn't know that my cousin told me this story, years back. And then here she is telling me a similar story. And that like made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
Oh, man.
But I never told her that my cousin told me a similar story because I didn't want to freak her out, And then so like one day I was just like, it dawned upon me, when, why don't I, the internet was barely starting, and I was just like, why don't I research and see if there's like any reports of this ever happening around, Houston area or whatever. And there's a story. It's called the Houston Batman. Y'all should look it up on YouTube. And there was like 3 people that reported seeing a man with bat wings, and it landed on a tree, in their neighborhood. So, is that a coincidence, or it's just? That's I just thought it was a crazy story, And I wanted to share that story with y'all guys,
Man, I like that story.
I mean, like I said, it didn't happen to me personally, but. I mean, it's just something that was told to me.
Yeah, it's like 2 types of people that there's no reason for them to lie. Like your mom, and like there's no reason for your hurt. They're like maybe, like I'll believe like if you were little, your mom told you a story just to freak you out.
Yeah.
But no, you were a grown man.
Yeah.
And she was she was telling you a story.
Yeah, sharing a personal story.
Yeah, and your cousin.
Him too.
Yeah, he was also a grown adult, and he was telling you the story, and it's insane, man. That's scary.
Yeah, and then to find something from the news, a news channel, talking about the Houston Batman sighting, and I'm just like, wow, that is like, when I saw that just like blew my mind, and like maybe this really happened to them. Maybe they seen the same thing that these people seen,
Oh, dude, now I'm scared. Now I'm scared going outside, because I usually take my dog Penny outside for she can use the restroom. Now I'm scared, man. And right now it's nighttime. It's like almost 10 p.m. So yeah, that's creepy, man. You gotta be careful, man. If you hear something dinging in your roof while you're driving, man.
Yeah, why are you talking about me? Yeah.
I don't like the name though. I think they could come up with a better name.
Yeah.
Because the Houston Batman doesn't seem too terrifying.
Yeah.
Sounds like a guy.
I think they didn't want it to be terrifying. They just wanted to tell the story about these people having a sighting.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was this, like I said, it just kind of like, I was in awe to actually see that there was actually a story about somebody close to me had a similar story, and not just one person, 2 people. 2 people that I know that were close to me. I mean, wow.
Dang, bro. I don't know what to think about that. Like
Yeah.
I like I like it. I
I
like
mean,
that story.
my mom is not here anymore in this world, but I wish if she was, I would go back and ask her, like, did you really, you know, was that, tell me the story again, I mean, because it's different when you hear it from the person it happened to.
Yeah.
Me, I probably butchered it a little bit, you know what I mean? But I try to tell it the best way I could, And then, unfortunately, like, some relatives grow apart, and so I haven't talked to my cousin in years, to be able to say, hey, you remember that story you told me? So I'm just out of recollection. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm trying to tell the story the best I can, just for y'all guys to enjoy.
Yeah, it's okay. My audience is used to me butchering words all the time. Yeah, but man, that's a good story. I'm always gonna like that story. I don't necessarily believe in it, but I like it. I like it a lot. Definitely makes you think.
Yeah,
what's out
it
there.
sounds like it'd be a good episode on like one of these shows, like you said, like Lost Tapes or like one of these mystery shows, that they have nowadays, which I think they're pretty cool. They're like little stories.
But I mean, I think that's it, Rick.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add?
Oh,
or
the only
something
thing
we're missing?
the only thing I want to say is like, I think like all these Bigfoot shows that come out on History Channel are
I hate those, dude.
ridiculous.
I hate those so much
because I mean, they never show any evidence, and they act like if you're there, they're like, "Do you smell that? It stinks." I'm like, bro,
I just farted.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, no, I'm just like, I can't smell that. How do I know you're smelling anything? I just think it's kind of funny. But again, it's their perception of what they want to do. I know they got to keep the audience,
Yeah, I don't like those shows at all, man. I think it's a total BS. They're like, each episode is like, oh, you see this camera footage? There's nothing there.
It's all grainy. Yeah.
There's nothing happened, but I mean,
yeah. But what's weird? I even find myself doing it. I'm like I'm like looking hard. Like what? Did I miss it? You know what I mean? Like, where is it? It's like, what are they talking about?
Oh,
So I agree. Some of that stuff is BS. They're just trying to keep an audience in the ratings. But
make some money.
it's just funny how every episode is. Did you hear that? Did you smell that?
Oh man, I like this episode. This was a great episode. I wanna hopefully our audience likes this episode and likes to hear us talk more about stuff like this.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why we put the disclaimer. So. We don't want everybody to think that we're out of our minds. We're not. We're sane people. We just like to talk about other things,
Yeah. Keep an open mind.
Yeah.
But all right, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. The Unknown Artist again, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. If you listen to this episode, thank you.
All right, Rick. Before we go, do you want to hear a joke?
I don't know. I'm kind of scared. Yeah, let's do it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Werewolf.
Werewolf who?
Werewolf. That's true.
Oh man.
Oh,
we need to get that one and lock it up in a vault. I think that has its own horror story.
I can hear the subscriber count go down. Minus 50 subscribers right there. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I mean, if y'all like this stuff, I mean, we could possibly do another episode before October's over.
That'd be great.
Just one more, and
that'd be great.
That'll be your Halloween, another Halloween podcast, number 2.
I wouldn't mind at all.
But I mean, let us know. Let us know what y'all guys think. And like I said, we're just sharing some stuff, and we're not trying to offend anybody, or we're not even saying we believe it.
Yeah.
And of course, our personal experiences, that's on us. But let's not be too harsh. Yeah, like I said, have an open mind, and if you want to comment or you want to share your own personal story, I mean, You know,
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be great. Like if somebody wants to, like we can make a phone call to you guys and you can share a personal story with us. That'd be great.
Yeah, we can do it on the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, and I don't know. This has nothing to do with this podcast, but I mean, if you have listened to our other ones about making customs, Jesse did mention. I don't know if you're still gonna do it, but you were mentioning something about maybe doing a contest.
Oh, a giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so for the next video, for the next podcast video, whoever comments, we're gonna pick 2 people to give a gift. So yeah, if you want to enter this giveaway, just simply comment, like the video, the next podcast video, and we'll choose a winner on a future video. You know, so if you're interested, just go ahead and comment. That's it. So that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening in. Rick, you want to say anything else before we leave?
No, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you listen, to the whole podcast, thank you. It's appreciated.
All right, guys. Peace out, and I'll catch you next time.